Hey, this month I've been talking about focus. What is it going to take for you to achieve your goals this year? And in one word, it's focus. You know, I just heard someone mention some statistics and research that's been done on how often we are distracted just by social media. They said that the average person spends 3.2 hours a day on social media. 3.2 hours of your entire day is spent just scrolling through things. Somebody also said that we're spending, or about every 8 minutes, we check our phone. Every 8 minutes. We can't even go a full 10 minutes without checking. Did somebody text? Who tweeted that? Think about how much time is wasted just checking social media. You know, I was looking at different things I'd heard from Richard Branson and Darren Hardy and different people who've achieved great success. And they said they did research and found that the average CEO spends 28 minutes a day on productive activity. 28 minutes out of their full workday is spent on doing anything productive. That we're distracted every 3 minutes. The phone rings, an interruption, a distraction, somebody walks in, we check our Twitter, we check Facebook, we check Instagram, we see who's emailed. Every 3 minutes we're distracted. Then they say it takes 11 minutes to regain our focus. So look at how much time is being wasted every day. Now those are just distractions that are all around us. But I want you to know, Satan wants your time. He wants you distracted. He wants your mind on all these other things that you never fulfill what God's put in your heart to do. You know, that's the thing I want you to realize this month, is Satan is after your focus. Listen to this. Will Smith, the actor, he said, to have the level of success that I want to have, it's difficult to spread it out and do multiple things. He said it takes a desperate, obsessive focus. Then he said you really got to focus with all of your fiber, all of your heart, and all of your creativity. If you want to achieve your goals, you've got to get focused. You've got to get rid of the distractions and say, I am determined I'm going to accomplish this year. Well, the thing is, you know, I always tell people to, make a list of your top 10 goals that you want to see accomplished this year. But you don't have to have 10, you could have 5, you could have 7, you could have 3. But the point is to get focused on achieving what's in your heart to do. Well, some people say that the most important thing is that you focus on your top 3. Because if you have too many priorities, you won't achieve any of them. In fact, listen to this. This was an amazing story I heard about Richard Branson. Darren Hardy, who's the editor of Success Magazine, he was approached by a friend who said, I know you're friends with Richard Branson, the mega wealthy man. He has 300 companies worth $4 billion. They said, we know you're friends with Richard Branson. Can you get him to come speak at our Success Conference? So Darren Hardy said, well, I normally don't like to use my connections like that, but I'll see what I can do. So he contacted Richard Branson's office and they asked, would you be willing to come and speak at this conference? And they said they'll pay you $100,000 to speak for 1 hour. Well, that's a lot of money. They heard back from Richard Branson's office and he flatly declined. No, thank you. So Darren Hardy tells his friend he declined, sorry. So he comes back to him and says, well, tell him we'll pay $250,000 for 1 hour. So he calls the office, gives them the proposal. Branson's office contacts him back and says, nope, flatly declined. $250,000 for 1 hour. So then they said, okay, we'll give him $500,000, $500,000. We'll send a private jet to pick him up. As soon as his foot hits the platform, we will hear his speech, put him back in the plane within 1 hour. $500,000. He declined. Okay, this guy has some kind of focus that I am not familiar with. But listen to this. Finally, the guy who's inviting Branson starts getting a little upset and says, okay, tell him to name the amount. Just what do you want to come and speak for us for 1 hour? This is what Richard Branson's office called them back and said. Richard is focused on 3 strategic priorities right now, and he will only allow us to allocate his calendar to something that significantly contributes to the achievement of one of those 3 strategic priorities. And speaking for a fee for any price is not one of them. Wow. Now that's some obsessive focus. So he already determined before the year even started, speaking for a fee at any price is not something I'm interested in doing. Why? Because my focus has to be somewhere else. Well, maybe that's why he's worth $4 billion and runs 300 companies. because he has that focus. Now, he didn't just arrive at that focus. He had that focus all along, which probably enabled him to become as successful as he is. Jim Collins said this. He said, if you have more than 3 priorities, you don't have any. So I want to challenge you to think about, what is it? You know, maybe you wrote out 10 goals at the beginning of the year. Maybe you wrote out 7. I don't know what you did. But if you were to achieve 3 of them, what would your top 3 be that you would be the most proud of, you'd have that good feeling like, I did what I needed to do this year? You know, it could be writing a book and you made it one of your top 10, but maybe it needs to be in your top 3. Because if it's not in your top 3, then likely, you know, you're going to come to the end of the year and you're going to say, I didn't get the book done again. Why? Because all these other things are stealing your focus. You know, even Warren Buffett, the 4th wealthiest man in the world, he said this. This was his method for success. He said, number 1, write out all of your goals. Write them all down. Number 2, he said, narrow it down to your top 3. Number 3, throw away the list. Throw away the rest of the list. Focus on your top 3. Well, I just want you to think about, what are the top 3 things that you know you've got to get focused on? Is it getting out of debt? If that's one of your top 3, then that will help you make better decisions. When all your friends are saying, let's go shopping, there's a major sale, you say, sorry, one of my top 3 goals is to get out of debt. And going shopping does not support that goal. It could be to lose weight, and your goal is to weigh 130 pounds by, August 1st. And there's a party in the kitchen with cake, which, bless your heart, I believe in Jesus' name you'll be focused. But the thing is, if you say that does not support my goal because I will reach my goal by August 1st, you've got to get laser focused on what you want to accomplish this year. So, I was thinking about how, I've shared this on several podcasts, how, a lion tamer was asked one time, why is it that you always carry, a pistol and a whip when you go into the cage with that crazy lion? But invariably, you always carry the 4-legged stool. Why does a lion tamer carry that 4-legged stool? I always wondered that too at the circus. What is that going to do to a lion? But here's the reason they carry that stool. Now, what they say is when they carry that stool, they hold it to where the 4 legs of the stool are facing the lion. Well, that lion, when he sees that stool, he tries to focus on all 4 legs at the same time. And in an effort to try to focus on 4 things at the same time, they said a certain paralysis overwhelms him and he becomes tame, weak, and disabled. Why? Because his attention is fragmented. It's all over the place. Well, that's exactly what Satan is hoping for your life, that your attention is on all these things that you don't accomplish anything. I'm challenging you this month, get focused. You've got to decide what are those things that you know God's going to hold you accountable for. You want to come to the end of this year and say, I did it. I did what I set out to do. So don't get overwhelmed. Get focused. Get laser focused. Get this brand new message on focus. I believe it's going to help you go to the next level. If you're enjoying these podcasts, please subscribe to this channel. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I want to keep you motivated to achieve your dreams. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.